In the history of digital media, there has never been a figure quite as polarizing as Jake Paul. To the casual observer, he is a manifestation of everything wrong with the internet, a loud, abrasive, and relentless promoter of chaos. But if you view him through the lens of business, psychology, and structural engineering, a different picture emerges. Jake Paul is not a chaotic accident of the algorithm.
I've always known it was a powerful tool. I was on camera, 17 years old, saying that influencers are going to take over the world in every single industry.
He is the most disciplined practitioner of attention economics we have ever seen. He didn't just happen to the 21st century. He studied the infrastructure of the internet and realized that the old gatekeepers of Hollywood, music, and traditional sports were clinging to an outdated model. They prioritized reputation. He prioritized relevance. They sought approval. He sought reach. By ruthlessly abandoning the need for likability, he tapped into a psychological current that is far more powerful: the need to react. We often make the mistake of assuming that public disdain is a failure. For Jake, public disdain is a performance metric. He has spent over a decade reverse engineering the human brain's response to conflict, drama, and spectacle, creating a loop where every criticism leveled against him acts as a propellant for his next venture. He is the first true attention architect, a man who understands that in an era of infinite digital noise, being the villain is not a career death sentence. It is a competitive advantage. Today, we are moving past the clickbait and the hate watching to dissect the cold hard logic behind his rise. We are looking at a masterclass in psychological warfare, fiscal leverage, and platform building. If you still see a prankster, you are missing the boardroom strategy. By the end of this, you will see a man who didn't just break the rules of Hollywood.
What's a Boston Tea Party?
He built an entirely new stadium, tore down the old walls, and invited the world to watch him profit from the rubble. To understand this empire, you have to look back at the Vine era. Back then, Jake was just another kid in a bedroom, but he was quietly discovering the data arbitrage model that would define his entire career. He wasn't just making content, he was running a continuous multi-year experiment on the human brain. He was the first to realize that the internet doesn't reward logic, it rewards intensity. He'd release a kind vlog, views would flatline, the audience was bored, but he'd drop a video featuring a house-trashing prank, an aggressive feud, or an act of pure, unfiltered arrogance, and the views would skyrocket. He treated the algorithm like a stock trader treats a market, learning that humans are hardwired for what psychologists call high arousal emotions. Anger, shock, confusion, and excitement are the triggers. When he transitioned to YouTube, he kept the high-intensity hook but scaled the drama. He built the Team 10 mansion as a content factory. This was the first true creator incubator, but instead of focusing on quality, he focused on narrative chaos. He turned his life into a 24/7 soap opera. Every member of his house was a character in a perpetual evolving drama. He realized the algorithm is indifferent to morality. It doesn't care if you're laughing with him or at him. It only cares that you are watching. He transitioned from prankster to lifestyle mogul by creating a walled garden. If you liked one video, the algorithm fed you the entire house. He turned his personal life into a product line, making him a pioneer of the attention retention model, turning the internet's collective outrage into his own personal capital. He wasn't just a creator anymore, he was a broadcast network. The genius here was the feedback loop. He was essentially performing A/B testing on a national scale. He would tweak a thumbnail, change a title, or initiate a feud, and watch the data streams respond in real time. He recognized that for the algorithm, negative engagement is identical to positive engagement. Every comment calling him a moron boosted his search ranking. Every angry tweet was a free advertisement. He didn't have to pay for marketing because his haters did it for him. He built a system where the more people disliked him, the more profitable he became. The most cynical yet brilliant Part of his strategy is what I call the parasitic legacy. If you look at his biggest fight cards, he never starts from zero. He attaches his brand to someone else's historical credibility. Take the Tyron Woodley fight. Woodley was a legendary UFC champion, but his momentum was fading. Jake didn't just fight him. He used the pre-fight press conferences to intentionally degrade that legend. He forced the MMA world to defend their icon against this YouTuber, turning a boxing match into a cultural war. He effectively kidnapped the MMA audience and dragged them into his pay-per-view ecosystem. It's a genius leverage play. He doesn't need to build a legacy. He just buys the rights to borrow yours. He forces a confrontation between your nostalgia for the past and your hatred of his present. He isn't just fighting. He's performing a hostile takeover of sporting history. Whether it was the high-wire tension of the Fury fight or the global spectacle of Mike Tyson, Jake doesn't pick fair fights. He picks loud fights. He exploits the fact that the old guard is often too proud or too financially desperate to say no to a massive payday, and in doing so, he drains their audience to fuel his own. He is the brand vampire, feeding off the residual prestige of legends while building a future where the legend is no longer the star, the platform is. This is a masterclass in acquisition. Instead of spending years building a brand from scratch, he acquires established brands, strips them for parts, and integrates them into his own ecosystem. He recognizes that sports fans are tribal, and he uses that tribalism as a weapon. He forces the audience to choose. Are you with the old guard who is losing, or are you with the new disruptor who is winning? By positioning himself as the antagonist, he ensures that the stakes for the viewers are incredibly high. They aren't watching a fight, they are watching a revolution. Here's where he outpaced everyone. While other creators chased AdSense pennies, Jake moved into the middleman's cut. By launching Most Valuable Promotions MVP with advisor Nakisa Bidarian, he stopped being a worker and became the landlord of the sport. He signs the fighters, rents the arenas, and owns the broadcast rights. The event drew 108 million global viewers and peaked at 65 million concurrent streams. He used this massive influx of eyeballs to attract corporate partners like Celsius and DraftKings, brands that paid premium prices to align with his reach. He proved that he could mobilize capital and infrastructure in a way that traditional promoters simply cannot match. He isn't just an athlete. He is the architect of a new sports entertainment ecosystem where the fight is merely the billboard for the empire. This was a fundamental shift in the boxing business model. For decades, the promoter was the middleman. Jake decided to be the promoter, the broadcaster, and the star all at once. By bypassing traditional cable PPV and going straight to a global streaming giant, he demonstrated the true power of the modern creator. He proved that a single individual, if they have enough attention, can leverage a tech giant's infrastructure to reach an audience larger than any television network in history. He didn't just participate in the sport, he replatformed the sport entirely. Why can't we look away? We call it hate watching, but it's actually a form of modern tribalism. We hate his character, but we are genuinely impressed by the machinery. This is the blueprint for the 21st century mogul. The days of the star are ending. The days of the architect are beginning. Jake Paul is showing everyone else in the digital space that you can stop being a product of the system and start being the one who builds it. In 2026, we're still talking about him, still analyzing his fights, still tweeting our anger. Every time we do that, we're paying him. We think we're exposing a fool, but we're validating the most efficient marketing strategy in history. He's the ringmaster of this circus, and until we stop caring, the show isn't going anywhere. The next time you see a video of him doing something stupid, ask yourself,
you're the overwhelming favorite in this fight, both in the sports world, like the sports betting world, and of course popular opinion. But in your own words, what's the impact of a loss for you if that were to happen?
Is he really a moron? Or is he the only guy in the room who realized the game is rigged? And he's the one holding the deck. He is not a glitch in the system. He is the system perfected. He is the mirror reflecting our own desire for spectacle back at us. We built him. We watched him. We funded him. And as long as we keep needing a villain to project our frustrations onto, Jake Paul will keep winning. The question isn't whether he's a genius or a fool. The question is, When the circus eventually packs up and leaves, what will we have actually gained? We are all participants in this experiment. Every like, every share, every angry comment is a data point in the model he is refining. He has successfully gamified the human psyche, turning our inherent desire for conflict into a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. The era of the gatekeeper is over. The era of the attention architect has arrived. Whether we like it or not, Jake Paul has set the precedent for what is possible when you stop playing by the rules and start writing them. He has proven that in the modern world, the most dangerous thing you can be is not hated, it's ignored. And as long as he is the loudest voice in the room, he will never be ignored again. The show is moving forward.